everyone. Please let me know if I'm live, if you can hear me, if the sound is fine, if the video is okay. I'm live from Tbilisi. This is the part 2 of a live stream I did last weekend. I think it was Sunday. The recording is still available on my YouTube. If you missed part 1, after I'm done with this one, you can immediately jump on to the first part. Hi Sharon, hi Christine, hi Celia, good to have you. Thank you so much for joining. So it means that I'm live, it's all good, which is great. Hi Isabella, hi. So this is the continuation of my tour of the Vere or Vera neighborhood. Shabbat Shalom, Dorley, good to see you. And Vere, as you may remember from the previous episode, and those who do not know what I'm talking about, also from time to time I have some new people jumping on this live stream, which is fantastic. So welcome. My name is Anna and I've been living in Georgia for 1 year. I have a very extensive experience in guiding, and I've been doing virtual tours of Georgia for a year now, and I'm absolutely in love with Georgia. I'm staying in Tbilisi, and every day is a new discovery. Hi Richard, you're live, good to see you. Every day is a new discovery for me, and honestly, sometimes it feels like, well, have I exhausted Tbilisi? Shall I move elsewhere to keep finding new stuff? And then whenever I think this, there is something else that Tbilisi comes up with to surprise me with. So I'm in the neighborhood where I haven't done actually many tours before, but it's time to fix it. This is the best time to fix it. And the Vere is the 19th century neighborhood. It's a little less, I would say, posh and snobbish than Sololaki and the Chugureti, the other two 19th century neighborhoods that emerged in the middle of the 19th century as the area for a lot of wealthy people, especially Sololaki, with the boom in oil industry and also railroad construction. Well, this is a bit different. This is where people with a lot less wealth would move to. Hi Martin, good to see you. Hello, hello. And those would be different, it would be doctors. And last time I showed you the beautiful maternity hospital that was run and established and financed by one of the great duchesses of the Romanovs, Olga. And also I showed you several more medical facilities. So this is where the, I would say, big campus of the medical school was, and also several other medical research facilities. Also people of different, tradesmen would settle here, and actors, students, and by the way, the Tbilisi State University is really around the corner from here, but that's definitely the subject I will be covering a little bit later. It's like a whole story in itself, so we are on it. I'm on it, I promise. Let's just save it for a little after. And also Vere, since it was established and started developing, and the houses would mushroom here in the second half of the 19th century, has a whole wealth of Art Nouveau. And that's the building I would like to start with. I promised you some Art Nouveau. Actually, this is the Art Nouveau I didn't know exists up until this morning. I just discovered this building by chance. For some reason, there are still some streets, even though I'm so frequent in this area, sometimes, well, I keep bumping into new things. So I would like to share with you this discovery. So to do that, I'm gonna need to switch the camera. Well, many of you, my seasoned viewers, know that Tbilisi has a great wealth of different architectural styles. Sometimes the buildings still look run down, but we should cut the city some slack because the city was really hit hard by the perestroika. As you know, Tbilisi, Georgia were forced to be part of the Soviet Empire, Soviet Union, and the perestroika, the collapse of the Soviet Union, it really, really hit the country hard, and the civil war and the several more conflicts. So clearly, we just should be waiting and grateful for these works of art to have survived to the date. But I think these two ladies, the Loreleis, which normally in the, I would say, classic Art Nouveau should be peaceful and gracefully looking at us, looking down on us. These ones are screaming like, yeah, just screaming, indeed. I guess this thought kind of crossed my mind that maybe these ladies, they have just seen the future of the 20th century, because I believe I haven't been able to find a lot of information about this house, unfortunately, maybe just yet. So at least ladies, I think they look as if they have just seen what would happen in the 20th century to Georgia, and not only to Georgia, by the way, definitely not, to the world. And the world is still shaking. There's still aftershocks of the 20th century. Well, but all in all, this building is still not in a very bad condition. I don't know, probably wouldn't really step on this balcony, just to be on the safe side, I would say. But other than that, people are living here, and everywhere here is residential area. I really like the entry. I really like this entrance for the carriages and later on for the cars. I don't think we can actually go and check out that backyard, but there are some other courtyards and backyard that we will discover today. So for those of you who have seen my previous tours, you know that those are very, very different. Yeah, well, Richard, I don't know if they're not safe. Probably they are, because clearly everywhere in every apartment there are people living, and I think they're just good, but I don't know, just to keep on the safe side, I would say. And what I like and what I really want to show you though is the doors. Well, at least the ironwork is still here, and this is amazing. So they did something to it definitely quite recently, but this clearly is the original ironwork. Look at these flowers. Look at this just absolutely iconic Art Nouveau-ish designs and lines, the smooth lines. This is beautiful. Well, this is it could have been much worse. It could have been much worse. Now I would like to cross the street again, because there is another house I need to show you, but from a different side. We are very close to the main avenue, the two main avenues of Tbilisi. Well, the Rustaveli Avenue, you, I'm sure, know, even without me mentioning it again and again. This is the avenue where the protests have been happening, the main avenue for everything. And also the Mirab Kastava Avenue, which we are actually going to cross shortly. But speaking of the protests, this street, however, is named after a woman that, well, I would say could have become someone famous, could have become an architect, a scientist, an actress, anyone. She could have become, but she didn't. Her name is Tamar Chovelidze. She didn't, because she died before she reached the age of 18. And I would like to show you her photo. Just give me a second. There you go. Tamar Chovelidze. She died before she reached the age of 18. I just mentioned Rustaveli Avenue. So on the Rustaveli Avenue, always, so whenever there was a commotion in Tbilisi, it would always be on the Rustaveli Avenue. And the 9th of April, 1991, there was a commotion. On the 9th of April, as you know, there was a riot, there was a protest opposing, 1990, the opposing the um, the Soviet government. 21 people died, including Tamar. So this street named after her. By the way, I'm just passing by the kernels. This is just the city's initiative. Oops, sorry, the city initiative. As you know, Tbilisi, well, the country's policy with regards to the street animals, the stray animals, is not really putting them in shelters, but neutering them and releasing them to live in the city, since it's never really that cold or hot, so the animals cannot really survive. So the kernels are all there for this purpose. And look at this house. This is another discovery from really a few hours ago. So next to an Art Nouveau building, we have this neo-Gothic, eclectic brick artwork, brick masterpiece. The fantastic thing about the brick architecture as of late 19th century, 20th century, is that they would be switching from plaster decoration to just, I would say, mainly brickwork decoration. And this type of decoration doesn't really need to be renewed from time to time. It's not going to chip off. It's not going to be ruined by the weathering. Or it could be also natural stone, another house that looks like neoclassicism, but also with bits of eclecticism for sure. Again, not really much information about these houses. They are all tenant houses. They used to belong to some private properties, and then the apartments would be just rented out. But this house cost a lot cheaper than to build the other house with the beautiful screaming Loreleis. Munch style, I would say it's like Edward Munch style Loreleis, and as you know, there is connection with Edward Munch with Tbilisi, because his muse died here, Dagny Yule. But that's the story I shared with you many times, so I'm not going there now. But this one is a beautiful house. There is a restaurant there called Lolita. I have just been there. I got a bit hungry and didn't really have much time, so I went there. Quite costly, loads of people. It's definitely a very trendy place. And we are also in the very heart of Tbilisi, so no wonder. I'm going to cross here and just give you a sneak peek of what's happening over there. This place is really swarming with people, but now there is like growth, so you don't really see much. It's a gigantic place, really, but you can't really see that because of the growth. But anyway, so but you can see this house, quite different period, different epoch, because this is the building of the former printing factory from the Soviet times, and you can clearly see the resemblance with the typical Soviet architecture. However, it's not Soviet anymore. In case you're planning your stay, you're planning a trip to Georgia, to Tbilisi, there are some really nice hotels here. So there is the hotel called Rooms over there and over here. But to do this, I need to cross the street in order to take you to the other side, so you could see what I'm talking about. And we are now on Merabkastava Avenue. Here we are, Merabkastava Avenue. That's the building that belonged to the Sarajishvili family, the founders of the cognac manufacture back in the 19th century. I shared the story of the family in the previous episode, so I'm not going to repeat myself. However, you know, I like to share some old stories, and I have been able to find the photo of this house, this building over there, because we're going to pass through the arch to see what backyards look like, the courtyards of Tbilisi houses look like. And from here it does look a bit A bit run down, but not too much. And clearly there are some apartments for sale because this definitely is a residential building. And that's what it looked like back then. The same house. It looks very European. It looks, well, with this very reserved decoration. It could be from somewhere in Northern Europe as well. Maybe, okay, maybe even Eastern Europe. But you will see that this even despite a very European facade, it will definitely have a very Georgian heart. So I'm gonna need to cross now. Not sure if I'll be on time or might just be stuck somewhere. Okay. Okay. Whoops. Yeah, we made it. We made it. Good. So speaking of the other hotel, so now you see what I'm talking about. This is the former building of the printing factory. Now, right now, if I zoom in, this is a cafe. It's called Stamba Cafe, Stamba restaurant. It's a very, very popular place, very good hotel. And on one of my tours of Rustaveli Avenue, I actually started there because they also have a nice garden, and there's also a digital art museum in there within the area. Other than that, Murat Kastava is a long avenue. It connects several districts with the downtown, with lots of Soviet architecture like this building. But we need to go and explore the history. I'm here, I'm hunting for history. I also like the decoration over here. Well, so but we need to go through this arch. Nothing special in the arch, but there is something. There's always something. All of a sudden you find yourself next to a palm tree. Lovely garden. And that's what I was saying, the Georgian heart. So this is where Georgian architecture finally comes in. Wooden balconies. They could be covered with glass, could be not. Looks like these ones originally were not, actually didn't have glass. Some of them were at some point turned into windows. I guess it was because of the cold, because obviously with glass windows it definitely feels much warmer. But you can see still that you can still see that they have preserved the original woodwork, the carved decorations, which I find really cute. Really, really cute. And obviously this is the local tradition, just to hang out your laundry to dry outside. It's everywhere. This is one of the I would say trademarks of Tbilisi courtyards. Definitely. So in the meantime, I'm going to take you to another street, a parallel street. And I would like to remind you, so what actually Vere neighborhood is about. Vere, or sometimes they call it Vera. Actually, this is the name of a river. Thank you, Ronaldine. Actually, this is the name of the river. And this is one of the rivers that is connected with the main river, the Kura River, which we are not going to see today. It's a little bit to the side from here, but not really far. However, we might take a look at the interesting landscape. Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how much time I'm going to need to take you to a surprise place. Oh, I haven't told you that I have prepared another surprise to you, Art Nouveau surprise. Well, let me switch the camera. It's not a surprise yet. But you're in for a treat anyway. Sometimes I even come up with a plan B and a plan Z, so I just need to know which of the plans to take. This is the street where we finished last time. And I would like to remind you that that recording is still available. So after I'm done with this tour, I will have 1 hour before my next one. And at that point, you may want to discover the previous episode if you missed it. This is the street where we were, and you may remember, oh yeah, Dolly, just like just like you, I always have an ace to show, to play. This is where we finished last time, the beautiful craft store with handmade accessories. Well, they're made by Georgian artists from all over the country, and we spent about 15 minutes in that place. Gorgeous, absolutely. And I promised to start the next week, which is now, and I promised to at least try to access this house. And looks like I'm keeping the promise. So the facade may not be really that impressive, and it looks like that the facade was maybe they did something with it in the Soviet period. I'm not entirely sure, but there is a hotel now, and we are on the Akhvalidiani street, and the hotel here, thanks to the hotel, I believe we still have the doors. They're clearly the Art Nouveau doors, restored for sure. Well, definitely the handle is missing, but the doors are at least here. And the hotel looks like a very good rating. So I believe that thanks to the hotel, here we have the restored Art Nouveau-ish. Art Nouveau? Why Art Nouveau-ish? Art Nouveau decorations. It was the common thing throughout these tenant houses to decorate the lobbies, just because you judge the book by its cover. So the more ornate your lobby is, the more likely, wealthy tenants would like to move in because they would like you more than the house next door. Who knows? This could be the thing. It could be. So from what I know, that the entire lobby used to be covered in this designs, very Art Nouveau-ish. Nightingales, just some flowers. I like the way the doors look from here. And there's something more over there. Well, as of now, there are only these two sections that survived. Hopefully, there will be funds for more restoration and more. I think those are nightingales. Not that I'm a big specialist in birds, but they look like that to me. But please enlighten me if those are not nightingales. Also gonna use my flashlight. Also, one of the ideas of Art Nouveau would be that Art Nouveau in every country would be a bit different, and it would be actually culture specific, nature specific, and it would be the use, one of the dogmas of Art Nouveau would be the use of local materials, and the decorations also should be somehow connecting to the local flora and fauna. The railings are still here, which is a big luck, because normally the metals would be just stolen, and because the country went through a really bad period in the 1990s. So that's why whenever I see a semi-dilapidating house, I think not of how dare they destroy let the house just dilapidate on its own. I'm just thinking that, well, they just haven't really gotten to this yet, because there is so much to take care of, so many buildings. So I appreciate what the country has accomplished over these 30 years. Oh, yeah, well, I'm not sure how it refers to the Georgia. I'm not sure what is this comment really about, but speaking of the money, Well, you could always leave me a tip. There is a link in the comments to buy me a coffee or to send me a PayPal donation, which I would appreciate. But I am well accomplished tour guide to 2 countries, just in case. So I'm not sure what your comment refers to, but anyway, so it's not that I am going to spend too much on this. And we are now switching on to another street because we are in for another surprise that I have prepared for you. That surprise, the lobby of the hotel doesn't really count because I promised it last time, but last time it was closed. So at least, okay, so maybe we should block you, I'm not sure. And this is the house that I've been meaning to show you. I think I need to zoom out a little bit. Thank you, Ronnie Ling. Thank you. So, this is a lovely house, clearly destroyed by the local street artist, which is a shame indeed. Sometimes you really come across this. Thank you so much, everyone, for blocking and reporting to those nasty visitors, which well, whatever. I'm getting popular, looks like. Yeah, sometimes you can actually come across really beautiful murals and street art. That's not the case, unfortunately, but what can we do? Just vandalism. But this house recently restored, and I like its quite demure decorations, but clearly Art Nouveau-ish. There is a hotel now on the first floor and a restaurant on the ground floor. We are going to explore a little bit, but as we enter beautiful porch, there is also some memorial plaques that you can find here. They are in Georgian. Luckily, I know what they are about, so I will explain. But first, we need to see the doors. Look at that. So that's the ironwork. Let me also come here to show you this side. So this house, speaking of the name plaque over here. So on this name plaque, it says that a certain Ekvtime Takaishvili lived in this house. Ekvtime Takaishvili was a Georgian archaeologist, scientist, historian. He taught, he lectured, he gave multiple lectures at Tbilisi State University. About this university, I definitely will be talking at some point, and I will be taking you to that area because this is also nice turn of the 20th century architecture. Thank you, Dolly. Yeah, well, whatever. I guess this is the price you pay when your live streams become a little bit more, get a little bit more reach. So with audience like that, I know I have your back, so I'm okay, honestly. I've grown some thick skin. Plus, there was some good news today regarding Israel, so, well, kind of good news. It's always a mixed bag, but anyway, so the Ekvtime Takaishvili. So he used to live here, but in the very end of his life. What he is important for, what he's famous for, is that after the collapse of the Russian Empire, Georgia became independent for 3 years, but then the Soviets invaded. And when in 1921 the Soviets invaded, Takaishvili was honored to be given the Georgia's treasury. The collection, like about 70 boxes of archaeological, the items from archaeological finds, from archaeological museum, and lots of golden items. The how shall I put it? As you know, Georgia was exactly the story or the myth of Argonaut, right? The Argonauts with the golden fleece. So in the area which is now the land of Ajaria, where Batumi is, this is where an ancient kingdom used to be. And from that area, there were made a lot of findings of the beautiful gold and jewelry. So all that was given to Takaishvili. By the way, check out this. Beautiful railings, some decorations, and the fantastic thing is that the stained glass is here. The stained glass ceiling is a very rare thing. I assume it's not the original because the original must have been destroyed by the times, not just the people, but probably just the times. And as I show you the decorations, I'll finish with a story about Takaishvili. So he was given all this, about 70 boxes, and he was sent by the government of the Georgian Georgian Republic, which existed for 3 years only. I know, it's beautiful. Even if it's new, it should be here anyway. And that's exactly the source of the daylight, which was cars back then when the house was built, because there was no electricity on this floor. There would normally be gas lamps at the entrance, and that was it. I also like the very intricate frieze decorations. So Takaishvili was sent to France together with those 70 boxes. And even when times were hard, even when he had really nothing to eat, together with his wife, especially in the 1930s in France, and when the occupation of Paris took place, France, in the Second World War, he didn't sell a single item from the collection. And he was approached by many museums of the world just to sell at least some golden items, at least something. The kolkhiz. The kolkhiz is the, or kolchis it's sometimes also called, that civilization, the kolkhiz that was so known for their golden jewelry and the golden fleece, right? And Argonauts, so that's the story. And then he returned to the Soviet Union when the war was over. He returned, and the rest of his life he spent under home arrest because he was not considered a very reliable citizen after so many years in Europe. Well, that's a very common story, right? Very common story. Even though he had preserved the heritage of the entire civilization in those 70 or 69 boxes, I'm not sure how many. Well, he lived the rest of his several years, I'm not sure how many, he died in this house. And we are in for a treat. So, are you ready? Hi. Here we are in a very cozy bel etage restaurant. It is owned by a family that has been living here for 4 generations. It's called Bel Etage, and this is so warm, so cozy. I was here a few hours ago and I asked for permission to live stream from here. Hi everyone. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for your support and having my back. Thank you. So and I was allowed to, and I met Georgi, who actually runs the place, whose family has been living here for all these 4 generations. And yeah, Georgi magnanimously, kindly allowed me to live stream from here. And I would like to show you a little bit of the place. And so the place is known for many years, has been known for its cuisine. It was how nicely they cook, and there is actually a very interesting menu. But there's also very interesting interior design. So the house was purchased in the post-Soviet period, and then you can see how much effort and money have been invested in the preservation of the decorations of the interior. And this might strike you as a bit weird that the Art Nouveau-ish facade actually has a more eclectic design of the interiors, but it's totally fine. It worked in many ways. Please. Look at this lamp. Very elegant indeed. Look at this lamp. It actually looks more Art Deco-ish to me than Art Nouveau, but anyway, it looks really nice here. I hope you are enjoying what you see, and that's not all. This wasn't really part of my plan, but you know, I like to explore. I like to open doors, and or sometimes when the doors are closed, I try to knock them, and sometimes, more often than not actually, I am welcomed. I like this mirror. I'm not sure how old this is. It doesn't really look very old, but it doesn't really stand out too much. Yay, everyone! That's a bit dark. If I come closer, yeah. Okay, but that's not all. There is more to show. Okay? But this is the place I discovered really just a few hours before, just like with the two houses on the Tamarchaliza Street. So Tbilisi always has something to surprise us with. Kamajova. Wow, this is what I saw when I entered. Actually, I entered from the backyard. And the backyard is something really beautiful. I'll show it to you. But before we go there, let's just enjoy a bit more. It's so quiet, it's so cozy. It doesn't look like a very fancy restaurant where you should be sitting and just being quiet or what. I don't know. This looks very homey, like home-like place. Nice. Very nice details. I also know from a friend who works in antique business that well, these type of chandeliers are quite common. Well, were quite common for pianos, but to find a piano in a good condition, antique one with these chandeliers is not so easy, because in the Soviet period and in the post-Soviet times, it was metal, so you could just steal it and sell it and get some cash. So it's a rare finding, definitely. I know I have been buffering a bit, but we haven't missed out on anything. Basically, I was just switching from one room to the other. Let me know if I'm back. I'll just wait, because I know that sometimes it takes a while for everything to work and everyone to connect, or for me to connect. I'm back. Thank you. So, yay, very good. Well, I actually didn't know how many cats would be here, but, well, it's always nice to meet a kitty. Hi there. Hello. Oh, actually two. Can you see the other one? And there actually was just one more cat, just recently escaped. I guess I just scared them. But this place it has so much. First of all, it's not even the Art Nouveau, it's the pumpkins. When I first came here, there was a gigantic pumpkin here, but look at these two cuties. You know how I love pumpkins, so look at this. So cute, so cute. I know it's already way past Halloween, right? But the pumpkins, like, come on. Plus, it doesn't really feel like winter here. Anyway, sorry, it's just I'm being silly. But what I want to show you, actually, even here you come across something old. But it's not about that. It's about the backyard. So I'm gonna show you more intricate designs over here. And they are already switching on the lights. At 6, the city, the municipality is going to switch the street lights. Look at that. Thank you, Richard. The railings, yes, the railings. I'll show you all of them. Exactly. Isn't it lovely? I'll also step a little bit backward so you could see more of it. I promised you some Art Nouveau. This is even a lot more Art Nouveau than I thought I would show you. That's the pumpkin. It's back because it wasn't here. That's the pumpkin. That's the pumpkin. That's the one. I'm sorry, I'm just so happy to see it. It's still here. Sorry. Anyway, we're here for this. Oops. Wait a moment. The style of the railings match the style of candelabra and the piano. Exactly. It matched the style of the candelabra. Sorry, not the chandelier, the candelabra. That was just confused the word. The candelabra, also the lines on the main facade, and also here. Yes, this is a perfect match. Clearly. And if you're planning to come to Tbilisi, this is also where you might consider staying instead of the big hotels, and then you would have this balcony for yourself. Not that I've been paid. I haven't been paid for none of this promo, so I'm just being generous with recommendations. This looks lovely with these lights on. Just intricate lights. You see? By the way, if you remember last time, I did the tour 1 hour later than today because I wanted to be able to actually catch up with the twilight and with the dark to show you the illuminations. But this time we are starting earlier to see more. So, thank you so much. The beautiful house on the Vashlavani street. The Vashlavani is it's a name of a neighborhood, not even in Tbilisi actually, just the area. I believe one of the versions why this was just called so because the people who lived in Vashlavani street, in the Vashlavani area of Georgia, moved in here because those were tradespeople, and normally they would be settling with the comrades, right, with the compatriots, and comrades later as well, when the Soviet period started. Beautiful fruit stand. This is the season for persimmon, for tangerines. The tangerines, the Georgian tangerines are amazing. It's one of the national pride product for sure. The Georgian lemons as well. I think they're kind of a selection. It's kind of I don't know what they do. I'm not really a specialist in this. I'm really lousy, but the lemons from Georgia, they smell and taste a bit more like oranges. they're a lot less lemony. I don't know how we do this. Hi. Hi. Oh, this is so cozy. I don't know. This is Tbilisi. This is the vibe of Tbilisi. The fruit stand next to a five-star hotel, and then next to it, beautiful Art Nouveau house, and then already collapsing building from the 19th century. All of this together, and we are going to see a lot more. Believe it or not. But there are so many things that I would like to share with you that is going to take me one more tour. And you see, it's not like I'm just babbling about this and that. There's just so much in just one neighborhood. Just one neighborhood. And this is the Stamba Hotel again. Stamba Hotel, Stamba Restaurant on the ground floor. They also roast coffee beans there. They have very good coffee. And the house that many people just really overlook. This I don't know, it reminds me of a chalet somewhere in Alps, or maybe a medieval building from somewhere, Germany, not far from Neuschwanstein. I don't know. But it really has something to it. What does it remind you of? It really has this vibe of a fairy tale. I don't know, of castles. But actually, this house was built to a commission of a merchant. Believe it or not, just a merchant. And just hold on a second. I would like to find some photos for you. Wait a minute. So this house, I can't find the old photo, but I might be able to come to find it a bit later. So, but this house used to be, well, it was commissioned by an Armenian merchant who earned fortune by investing in the oil industry and railroad construction, which both boomed in the second half of the 19th century. Aramyants was his name, which I believe sounds very Armenian. And as you remember, there were lots of Armenians in Georgia. Yes, really plain wooden balcony, indeed. In general, the house is quite special. I know that there is also a hotel in there. So this is Mikhail Aramyants. That's him. And that's the photo of his family. No, maybe this is better. That's a proud father of many children, a proud husband. However, his first wife left him after she had been cheating on him for about a dozen of years. And he wouldn't want to acknowledge that, but eventually he was faced with some facts. And yeah, so the wife left him. But that when she discovered she had been ill, like very ill, gravely ill, she returned to him after several years, and he was happy to have her back, and she died on his hands. However, Mikhail Aramyants built this house for his second wife, who also left him for another man, for a younger man. When his first wife left, he was absolutely shattered and depressed. And then when several years later he met this young woman who I believe was an actress, or just thought she was an actress, or not sure what. She said she wanted a house that would look like a fairy tale, and he got her the house, but she left him. That's the sad story. But the house is still here. The house is still here. And we are very close to the point where Mirabkastava Avenue connects with the Rustaveli Avenue. But we're not going to Rustaveli Avenue today. We've been there before, but we're going to at least see a little bit of the avenue. From the side, I haven't, well, from the angle, from the point, I haven't shown to you before. So first thing that really stands out is the tower of the Soviet building over there. This is exactly where the Rustaveli Avenue begins. Exactly there. But we are not going there now. This is the building of the Georgian, well, now this is the building of the Georgian Academy of Science. The classic example of Stalin Empire style. But we are not going there now. We are going there. So, not really. You know, I like these quaint streets. I'd rather just walk on these quaint streets of Tbilisi, not really having to walk in the noisy avenues. But, well, I guess the combination of both is much better. But there's always so much to see in the courtyards. There's always so much to see in the backyards, in the narrow streets, and that's why I'm here. By the way, this street where we are now, we've been here before. This is exactly the same street where the hotel is located. This is the Georgi Akhvalediani street. Georgi Akhvalediani was a linguist, and so that's why I like it that they name streets after just linguists. There are not so many linguists that the streets would be named after. There should be more. As a linguist, I really hail that. By the way, this bar, it's a coffee bar, has a very important name. I actually will come close and show it to you. They're still in the post-Christmassy state, so it's as 2605. Richard, thank you so much for the coffees. Thank you so much for your support. 2605 is a very important day that every Georgian knows. This is the date you can see on t-shirts. I believe those t-shirts would have the same name over there. Every Georgian knows this date. This is the date when the independent Georgian Democratic Republic was established. Back in 1918. And then 3 years later, you know the story. Well, from here I would need to cross because I need to show you the building on this side of the street. Well, some of not very obvious stories, but very common throughout the former Soviet Union, is this interesting buildings that look very eclectic. And I'm not referring to the style they were built in. And you know, eclecticism is not exactly the style, it's the combination of different styles and features where you just put together on a, well, the way you want, right? It's just basically the Lego bricks. Like Lego bricks, that's exactly one and the same word. Well, I guess this type of linguistic revelations should come up when you are in a street named after a linguist. Anyway, and this building is quite interesting because it used to be a church. You can see over here this interesting, it's not a rosette, I'm not even sure it was a window clearly, and there used to be a dome and there used to be a cross. I haven't found any images, any illustrations, so at least not yet. But it looks like next time I will be doing part 3 of the Vere neighborhood, and we'll see. I'll try to find something. So it used to be a church, and then that's what the Soviets would do. They would loot the churches, gut the churches. I think gut is a good word here. Looting and just gutting, taking all the icons and all the, well, whatever was possible to be carried away would be taken from the churches. And then normally the churches would be, well, there would not be crosses, sometimes the domes, and the buildings would be used for something else. So this building was used for something else. But also it's important to us, that's because a person whose name you might have heard before was born here. Well, I definitely mentioned him on one of my tours, especially in Kutaisi, exactly a year ago, by the way. But still, so Meliton Banchiwadze, who was a composer, well, he's basically the founder of Georgian Opera School, Georgian Opera. Meliton Balanchiwadze is, I would say, one of the founding fathers of Georgian classical music. So he used to live in this house, and that's what the name plaque over there in Georgian and in Russian is telling you about over there. So he lived here from 1923 to 1937, a composer, people's artist of the Georgian Soviet Republic as well, so Meliton Balanchiwadze. But his name, I don't expect you to know Meliton Balanchiwadze, but I expect you to know George Balanchiwadze or George Balanchin, the founder of the American School of Ballet, actually. So his son, who had been to Georgia several times, but who immigrated, who graduated from St. Petersburg Academy of Ballet. He graduated, and shortly after he immigrated to the States to become one of the greatest ballet dancers and choreographers of all times in the States and beyond. So he, I'm not sure whether he had been to this house, because 1922, this is when his father moved to this house, but George Balanchin had definitely been in Kutaisi, had definitely been to Georgia. Not sure about this house though. However, I believe it's still connected. So, and I promised to show you bits of the Rustaveli Avenue, a little bit over there. So if I cross the street, I'll be able to show it from just a bit of a better angle. Let me see. Yeah, okay, so over there the Rustaveli Avenue begins, and behind this tower of the Academy of Sciences buildings there is Tetsminda mountain, the highest mountain in Tbilisi, where we have been before, also the television tower. But this is where we stop today, and the house that we see here, the nice facade, we will be talking about next time. A couple more nice restaurants, a couple more beautiful buildings, and more stories are yet to come. The tour will be scheduled shortly. And so speaking of the schedule, I will be doing 6 more tours over this weekend. There are going to be 3 more tours tonight. In an hour from now, which means I really need to hurry, I will be taking you on a tour of the Marble Palace in St. Petersburg, which has a lot to do with Catherine the Great and Grand Dukes Romanovs. Then I'm taking you to Kronstadt, to the lighthouses, to the Lighthouse Museum, to the lighthouse, and also to a park. It's all about the lighthouses today, and I believe I really hit the jackpot, because today I've seen some Art Nouveau, pumpkins, lighthouses, like amazing. And also for the final tour tonight, for the 4th tour tonight, I'm taking you to the synagogue in St. Petersburg, the Grand Choral Synagogue in St. Petersburg. Christine, thank you so much for the PayPal tip. Thank you, dear. You've been so supportive. And that tour I will be doing for World Virtual Tours. And that tour will not be recorded. So if you would like to learn more, not just about the synagogue, but also about some Jewish heritage, some Jewish history in St. Petersburg, well, try to join. And yes, I have done this tour before, but as you know, I always change tours because I get bored when I just say one of the same thing, even if there is like a year gap between these tours. Tomorrow, 3 tours. Really lazy day for me tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm taking you on a very special tour, exclusive tour, the exhibition of the Hermitage Museum collection of jewelry and dresses from the Romanovs' house. This exhibition is now taking place in Moscow, and it's only running for 6 months. Oleg and his family, and I guess some of his friends, happened to be there, and he managed to film it for me. Well, the videos is not really perfect because there were so many people and because it wasn't so easy to film, but it's there. Oh goodness, there is so much. And speaking of Romanov jewelry, and speaking of the Hermitage collection of the jewels, in February, I will be doing 4 in-depth lectures for World Virtual Tours on the history of the fate of the Romanovs jewelry, and not only Romanovs, the Yusupov, the Narishkins, the Trubetskoy family. So what happened to all those million worth jewelry after the revolution? We're going to talk about this throughout February, every Saturday. And there's one more tour tomorrow. Oh yeah, another project that Misha's been really involved with is the tour on the Grand Dukes and Grand Duchesses Romanovs, the lesser known ones, because we always talk about the crown monarchs and maybe their children, but there were a lot more Grand Dukes and Duchesses with very interesting biographies, with lots of accomplishments and lots of failures too. Yeah. So we'll be talking about some of the bizarre ones as well. And another treat, the last one for today, but I hope you have enjoyed the treats that I have prepared for you, is the view that we're going to wrap this tour up with. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your appreciation of the research and hard work. So you could support me by sending me a PayPal donation or buy me a coffee. And on my website, annayagai.com, you can find the complete list of tours. And by the way, some tours for the next weekend are already up. Oh, and one more tour that I forgot is the tour on Jerusalem. How could I forget? I carry on with my tours on Jerusalem and the pilgrimage of Jesus. We are exploring Via Dolorosa, the street, the way of suffering of Christ and his way to Golgotha. And that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. So annayagai.com, this is where you can find my schedule. Oh, and also another thing for the jackpot that we had is that we saw the beautiful, clearly 100-year-old piano with the candelabras. Hopefully original, maybe not, but they looked so. And the next episode for my Tbilisi walk is going to be scheduled shortly, and we will see more of that street, some more of the Art Nouveau, some interesting places in the neighborhood, and hopefully, some more surprises. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for having my back and blocking all those idiots. And whoever's just joined me for the first time, thank you so much. And please check out for more and hit the bell to be notified when I schedule some premieres or when I share the recordings of my tours. And yeah, bye-bye.